Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Inside Track, Equibase's weekly handicapping podcast, where we give our analysis, picks, and wagers for a couple of the weekend's top races. I'm your host, Ben Kudla, and today I'm joined by Pete Fornatale, founder of the Eclipse Award, winner in the Money Media, a collection of horse racing podcasts and fantastic content. Such a great channel with top-tier guests such as Jerry Bailey, Randy Moss recently, and so much more. Please check them out. Hit that like and subscribe button on In the Money Media YouTube channel. Pete, so great to have you on the show. Always fun talking horses with you, and the energy you bring is pretty much unmatched. So,
I love it. I love doing this stuff. It's so fun to get to talk to you and communicate with the wider viewers and listeners. I'm feeling very energized. Had a trip last week to Ireland. Got to go around to a lot of the farms over there, a couple of the race horses, and definitely reinvigorates me. I'm all pumped up for the summer, my man.
Well, as I can tell with the fit you got going on, you got that razzle dazzle. I love it. I love it.
The baseball, it's always, horse racing and baseball. I like basically every sport, but horse racing and baseball stand at the top. My Mets, they've been going through a tough time. I figure this is the time you need to support them when they're down. So I've got
that's right. Baseball and horse racing do have a lot of connections with those statistics, but anyway, before we begin, I do want to give my condolences to all the family, friends, and everyone whose lives were impacted by the late, great D. Wayne Lucas, an absolute legend, not only as a trainer, but as a person with a vast knowledge of life and the love for the horse. Just his career is just wow. Inducted in the Hall of Fame in 1999, 4 times Eclipse Award champion for outstanding trainer, 4-time Kentucky Derby winner, 7-time Preakness winner, 4-time Belmont Stakes winner, 222 grade 1s under his belt, 4,953 career wins with over $300 million in career earnings. So horse racing world will definitely dearly miss Mr. D. Wayne Lucas. And Pete and Jay Priffin made a lovely tribute video as well to the life of D. Wayne Lucas in the Money Media, if you want to check that out as well. And if you want to jump in about that video.
Sure. I mean, it's a terrible loss for, obviously, as you point out, people close to him and for the industry as a whole. I mean, he was a complicated figure, coming into the game in the 90s, saw a bit of a different side of him, but it was so wonderful to see the way that he evolved, his career evolved, and the many lives he touched, and his legacy will live on, not just in those achievements in the history books, but through all the people he touched, especially the entire white bridle wearing training tree, which has just been so dominant across the industry. D. Wayne Lucas, we will not see his like again.
Very true. Well said. Well said. Rest in peace, D. Wayne Lucas. So last Saturday, what a day of racing at Churchill Downs it was in the Ville. Mindframe remained a perfect 3 for 3 this year, winning his second consecutive Grade 1 in the Stephen Foster. Torpedo Anna silenced those doubters, coming back to win the Grade 2 Fleur de Lis, surpassing $5 million career earnings, which ranks her 83rd all-time. Brilliant Birdie took the Grade 2 Wisden Stakes, earned his 6th consecutive triple-digit Equibase speed figure. So fantastic day of racing it was in my neck of the woods, but now it's time to head to Pete's part of the country for a stacked 4th of July card at Saratoga. So in this episode, Pete and I will give our picks and analysis for the Grade 3 Manila Stakes, Grade 1 Belmont Derby Invitational, and the Grade 2 Suburban Stakes at the Spa. But anyway, before we dive right in, RaceLens, a powerful handicapping tool, and it's trusted by the best. NHC champion Scott Cole in 2019 and last year's NHC champion Dan Piazza both used RaceLens to become the Horse Player of the Year. Wonderful, interactive, intuitive, customizable tool with 50,000 plus angles, downloadable and customizable PPs, race replays, pace projection, true odds, and much more. And now through August 1st, you can get an annual subscription today for just $699, normally $999. With promo code RLA699S. I'll put that on the bottom of your screen. You can check out RaceLens today for free as well. Every day we have a free RaceLens Race of the Day on equibase.com/RaceLens. So to grab that code RLA699S at checkout to save some money. Anyway, so here we go. The Grade 3 Manila Stakes, and we're just going to add a little RaceLens on here to spice things up. So Grade 3 Manila Stakes, race 8 on Friday's card with a post of 5:07 Eastern, 1 mile on the inner turf for 3-year-olds. Last year's winner was Neat for trainer Rob Atras with Junior Alvarado aboard. Full field of 12 in here. Chad Brown and Sherry Duvall with a couple entries apiece. Pete, who you going with?
I'm not terribly creative, but I have to stick with my guns, and those have been firing in the direction of Zulu Kingdom being maybe the best American 3-year-old for quite a while now. I mean, he was very good last year, and this year's taken that form to a new level of ability. What I really like about him is that he's a turf horse who can make his own trip. He's not a horse that needs to be on the lead. He's not a horse that needs to come from far back. I think he can get a position going forward from this 4 draw under Flavian Pratt. And then basically, no matter how the rest of the race unfolds, I think he'll be able to launch his challenge. And if he shows the quality he's shown in these last 2 starts this year, just think he's going to be tough to deny. Not the sexiest pick in the world. I think he will be right around even money, if not a hair shorter in this spot. But this is one I think you can build some of your horizontal exotics around and use as an anchor in a bet like the Exacta or Trifecta.
Okay, fair enough. No, I mean, I agree with you. Best 3-year-old for a little while there. I'm just so concerned that he's able to win a grade 1 against some really tough company. And why are you going to a 200,000, grade, what is this, grade
weird.
3?
Yeah, it's weird. It definitely deserves discussion, and I don't have the answer. It's not something I haven't gotten to the point of my handicapping where I'll be scraping around for news articles and looking for the quote, etc. I mean, he's obviously going a shorter distance. Maybe they just think he tops out at a mile. There's plenty of valuable prizes later in the year at a mile. That's the only thing I can think of. But I'm kind of with you in the sense that, like, yeah, for another 8th, is that spot at the grade 1 level a little more logical? I don't know. But this, for me, is going to be an in Chad Brown I trust decision where I'll just say he's so good at putting his horses in the right places. I don't know what the reason is, but there must be one.
Well, talk about the best. I mean, if you look here on Race Lens on the right-hand side of your screen, first in early pace, first in middle pace, first in late pace, first in average class, and first in average speed. So, no knock on that pick, and definitely could be an anchor as well. I kind of decided to go a little different route. I'm just going to try to take some value here on the outside with Mythical Man. Really interesting, Mucho Macho Man, first-time gelding for the Danny Gargan barn with Luis Saez aboard. Obviously, Gargan and Saez had some great success with Dornoch in the past couple of years. And the past 5 years together, they went at 27% in all races, 42 wins from 153 starts. And then they also went at 27% in Saratoga. And the past 5 years, 11 wins from 41 starts with a plus 43% return on investment. I just find this horse interesting. Started his career on the dirt at Saratoga last August, did not take to the dirt, finishing 6th by 19.5 on debut. Gargan puts him on the turf. BAQ breaks his maiden by half a length, going mile 16th. So he does have that 2-turn experience, as you'll see in this inner turf. We are 2 turns. Comes right back in December to win in AOC at Gulfstream Park, going a mile on the turf by 2 1/4 lengths, adding blinkers for the first time, and jumped way up in speed figures, going from a 56 to a 91 Equibase speed figure. He has yet to run back since, which is almost 8 months ago. But this is where the stats really come into play. So in the past 5 years, Danny Gargan wins at a tremendous 36%. With horses coming off a plus 180-day layoff. 14 wins from 39 starts, 59% in the money with a positive 41% return on investment. And now you might say, okay, Ben, that percentage is going to go down for routes, right? Well, it actually goes up. He wins at 37% in the past 5 years with horses coming off a 100-day layoff in routes. 7 wins from 19 starts, 68% in the money, the plus 30% ROI. Okay, now he's a first-time gelding. That's kind of interesting. Well, past 5 years, Gargan wins at 36%. First-time geldings, 8 wins from 22 starts, 55% in the money. So I think Gargan really has his horse ready to go. And he must think a lot of them to put him right into grade 3 right off the bat of an 8-month layoff. Not the fastest.
I love that he's been training up there too. That's
the
home field advantage angle when a lot of horses are going to be moving around, and this one can run right out of the stall that he's been training out of since May. This is a horse I think at the price he's going to be an absolute include in those verticals for me. I slept on him a little bit first time through, but I think you're making a good case that I could row in with for one to use underneath in my reckoning of the race.
Yeah, I mean, look, Zulu Kingdom, obviously it looks like the clear winner and just what a beast of a horse. But I'm going to try to beat him. I'm going to look for value. But I think you and I both have our second pick, which is Revolutionaire. I don't know if you want to give your thoughts on him. It's kind of interesting horse for Miguel Clement.
Yeah, certainly. Miguel's done such a great job since taking over the reins officially from his father. Boy, what a tough year for some of the best horse trainers out there, losing Christophe Clement and D. Wayne Lucas within such a short
and Lonnie Briley too in about the same couple months.
It's crazy. It's just crazy. But that's the way of the world, sadly. But this horse, to me, with the late kick that he has, I think is the one that has an opportunity to really take advantage if they go too fast. I think he's going to be a terrific price. He will be tested in terms of this being his first graded stakes race in America, but that group form from France that he has, I think it'll translate well. Probably the type that needs a setup, very difficult type to key around, but another one I just thought was worth including as one I expect will be running on late, and I might even use for a penny in horizontals, just under the theory that if Zulu gets beat, it's probably some sort of a weird pace situation that causes that. And if it's that they're going too fast, which I think would be the case if it goes against him, a Revolutionaire should be the one to benefit. So just a few reasons for me I thought was worth throwing this one in.
I agree. That quick turn of foot. And I mean, he was closing so well in that Woodhaven. And I mean, he finished fourth, but it was just by half a length. And it was to Dream On, who we just saw come back to win the Grade 3 Penn Mile, as well. And really nice bullet work there as well on June 27th, going 5 furlongs in a minute 45. Love that. So, yeah, that horse. And also Joel Rosario. I think he's a fantastic jockey. So definitely going to throw him in there. I'm interested to hear about your one, Maui Strong. I didn't have him on anything, but
just an improving the angles here, improving 3-year-old. And I just thought the last race in that first level allowance at Churchill was a classic case of just moving too fast into the hot pace. So he's a long shot, but he's a long shot. I think, you look at you can look at the speed figures there on Racelens and see where he ended up. But I think because of the pace dynamics there, you can upgrade that one. And when you take that into account, dealing with a horse that I feel like fits a little bit better than the bare form suggests, he's going to get to go the shortest way around from the rail there. I'm hoping even out those sectional times a little bit from what we saw the last day, and might just be able to get involved at a good price. I mean, he's in good hands, well-bred. There's some subtler things that make me think Maui Strong. Well, again, not one I would be keying, but one that I would be including at what will hopefully be a very big price.
What's interesting about these horses? 3 of them in here are owned by West Point. I rarely see them do it. Maybe 2 here and there, but 3. That's interesting.
I'm glad they're not coupled. It would hurt the wagering. So it is interesting. Yeah, they clearly are. It's West Point, so they're focused on a lot of different corners of the industry, but clearly buying some nice turf horses based on these pedigrees and their achievements on the track.
Yeah, I don't have the numbers with me, but it just seems like Dale Romans and West Point have been connecting quite a bit in the past year.
Yeah, the other thing about West Point, sometimes when there's one West Point, you will see, because they have a lot of owners, they have a lot of people who just follow them. You'll see those horses get overbet from time to time. With 3 of them in the race, I don't think that phenomenon can exist. That money should spread out a little bit.
I agree. No, I wholeheartedly agree. But I thought that was a fantastic handicapping race. I wish we had the odds, not final yet, but probably this afternoon sometime. But let's move on here to the Grade 1 Belmont Derby Invitational Stakes, race 9 on Friday's card with a post at 5:45 p.m. Eastern, a mile and an eighth on the turf. Interesting for Northern and Southern Hemispheres 3-year-olds foaled after August 1st, 2021 and before July 31st, 2022. Last year's winner was Tricari at odds of 5-1 for trainer Graham Motion with John Velasquez aboard. Field of 8 in here, and oddly enough, on a turf race, there are 2 entries in here that ran in the 2025 Kentucky Derby, Final Gambit and Flying Mohawk. So, Mr. New York Mets, are any of the Derby contenders on your ticket?
I think because they were in the Derby and because they have such famous names, it's possible they might be a little bit overbet. I mean, that is a positive, right? If you're running in the most prestigious 3-year-old race in America, I can see why somebody would want to see it as a good thing. But from a market point of view, sometimes it can just mean they're bet a little bit too much. Neither one would shock me with a much better run. But in both instances, I'm guessing their prices are going to make them a little bit shorter than I want to back them at. So I ended up looking in different directions here.
No, I agree. They'll definitely be bet down, especially Final Gambit. I mean, it's a Brad Cox, Flavian Pratt, Juddmonte homebred. So, just those connections alone, pretty high win percentage.
Yeah, and a lot of times these dirt racing. I mean, it's in a lot of ways it's just tougher for horses who can really excel on dirt to get even to be a 4th in the Kentucky Derby. That can often you move that horse to turf if they want to run on it, and they will have almost like a hidden class edge. But whatever that is, I guess the problem is it's not a hidden class edge. It's a well regarded by the market class edge, and that's what can push those prices down a little bit.
Well, and the fact they ran 1-2 in the Jeff Ruby on all weather, and then they're on a surface that didn't, maybe take to so much, and now they're not back in all weather, but turf is I'd say more similar to all weather than dirt is.
Right, in between, but probably closer. And I think that if I were doing a wide spread and I had strong opinions elsewhere, I wouldn't want either. To clarify, I wouldn't really want either of them to knock me out, but neither of them were ones that I was too concerned about keying around or really pushing to the audience.
Fair enough. Well, I see you're going with a horse making his North American debut.
I think Luther, I think I mistakenly used the term a hidden class angle, talk about the Derby, because it's the opposite of that. But you look at this horse's form throughout his career, and it's very good. I think it's better than the average racing form reader might realize. I mean, you look back to last season, that close-up second to subsequent Grade 1 winner who reopposes here, New Century. That was a good race. The maiden score was good enough that he was sent off pretty well backed in the Royal Lodge. Very prestigious race. Didn't make any impact there. But then he had the good run at Chelmsford and then got sent off to the French Classics, which were pretty good. I mean, I would argue that the 4th in the French Guineas is probably the best form in the race. And then
it's a Henry Matisse Breeders' Cup winner.
Henry Matisse, who comes back and runs second to that freak in the St. James's Palace Field of Gold. I mean, that's good form. And obviously, we know Henri Matisse too from his big run at the Breeders' Cup. And then the French Derby, I think, was just a little bit too far. So then you come back here, go in the mile and an eighth. Foreign Invaders have not dominated this race. I think they've done better in the Oak side than the Derby side. They've won it twice in its 11 runnings, but I think there's a real chance to make it 3 from 12. But what I really like is I just don't know how the market's going to cotton to him. I think they're going to see the last race, not really factor in the built-in excuse. And I think he could be a good price.
Oh, you're going to get a great price on that one. I would say better than 6-1.
I'd love that. Yeah, it looks like David Aragona's morning line had right at 6-1. I would be happy with that. But you're right. There's a lot of ways you can go in here, so somebody can get lost in the betting, and maybe it's Luther.
Maybe it is. I kind of didn't go with too much of a sexy play, kind of like your Zulu Kingdom. But I really like test score in here. Really talented. Looking at Lucky Colt for motion with Manny Franco aboard, coming off a really nice run, finishing second to your sexy Zulu Kingdom in the Grade 1 American Turf at Churchill, Kentucky Derby Day, going a mile 16th on the turf. If you watch that replay, his turn of foot in that last 16th was just so impressive. I think that with this stretch out today, he'll be able to get up in time. Maybe he started his career at Saratoga, finishing second in a turf sprint. Career debut last July, then goes in the Grade 3 with Anticipation Stakes. Next out as a maiden, runs fifth, but just by 3.5 lengths to none other than Zulu Kingdom. And then from then on, this horse is just not finished out of the money. Headed to Keeneland last October to break his maiden, go to mile in the grass on a main special weight, earning an 88 Equibase speed figure. Heads out to Delmar to run in the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance Stakes and Breeders' Cup weekend. Runs second by a neck to Chasing Liberty, who won a stake in his next start. The first, fifth, eighth, ninth, and 11th place finishers in the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance all came back to win in their next start. Takes a little bit of a layoff to come back in February 1st on the other side of the country at Gulfstream Park in the Kitten's Joy Stakes. Finishes third, going a mile and 16th on the dirt. Goes back to Keeneland to run the Grade 3 Transylvania, and just a brilliant run to edge clear by a length and a quarter, going a mile 16th on the turf. I was there that day. Just very impressive to see in person. Earned 100 Equibase speed figure for that win, and then earned a 104 Equibase speed figure for that second place finish last time out in the Grade 1 American Turf. So he's got 3 increasing Equibase speed figures coming into this race. Ranked first in early pace. He's ranked second in both middle and late pace. And I love Manny Franco being back aboard. He's aboard for both of his wins prior. Been working well at Fairhill. Worked 6 furlongs on June 20th in minute 13.4. Grand Motion with horses with 61 to 100-day layoff and turf routes wins at 30%. 14 wins from 47 starts, 55% in the money. And Racelines also projects him to win with a 28.9% chance as well. Probably won't get the odds I want, but I just think it's such a talented colt. So that's what I'm going with.
He might be an okay price. I mean, he might be, if I'm right about the horses coming out of the Kentucky Derby taking a little bit more money than you might guess, he could be the one to benefit in market terms. I mean, David had 4 to 1. Probably a little bit lower than that, but I don't think necessarily less than 3 to 1 or bottom 5 to 2. I'd feel okay including him pretty widely at that. Because you laid out the form and the handicapping case, but the biggest thing to me is I think he's just going to get an excellent trip. I would imagine he'll want to be stalking the speed of Tank from the rail, and he should get the jump on those deeper closers. And like we were talking about in the Manila, I mean that when you have a turf horse that has the ability to make their own trip, that's a real asset. And there won't be many of my tickets that don't have test score on them. I just decided to talk about Luther more because I felt like I maybe had more to offer that people weren't gonna see on the PPs there. But I'm right with you. Test score is a big player in here.
So you got Tank on your ticket, and for all those out there, Tank is actually the first horse I ever groomed in my life. I was just 15 years old, working for Mike Stidham on the backstretch of Arlington Park. And it's one of the ponies. He's a retired racehorse. He just had one eye. And so
a different tank, clearly.
A different tank, clearly. But I love seeing that name.
Yeah, I mean, the case on him, that was just a pace case. If for whatever reason Manny gets a little passive on test score and sits him more mid-pack or second flight even, I just thought there was some world in which that would leave Tank loose and alone. He's not really fast enough in theory, but we say this all the time on the various shows. One of the time when quote-unquote slower horses will beat faster ones is when they have a pace edge. I don't know what the weather's been like in Saratoga, having been down in Brooklyn, but in the summertime, you can see instances where that turf course gets a little bit speed favoring. It's just an idea. I put him on my tickets just to sort of remind myself, hey, don't totally sleep on this horse. I think everybody's going to think pop and stop, and that's probably the case, but there's some opportunity this one could forget to stop, as they say. I'm gonna have at least a little bit of Tank represented.
Well, I love it. I love the name. Absolutely going for him. If Tank wins, that would make me happy, honestly.
12 to 1 on the morning line, and that's probably about right.
Yeah, I'd say so. So I know maybe the final gambit might be a little bit short price, but I'm going to put him in for second because he just blew me away in the Derby. I can't believe he got fourth. Behind Sovereignty Journalism Baeza, which I think are the best 3-year-olds right now. But he started his career on the turf, finishing third, made a special weight, going a mile last November, goes up to Turfway, takes a couple tries to break his maiden before running off in that Grade 3 Jeff Ruby, as we mentioned earlier, earned a 98 Equibase speed figure for his Derby effort, Kentucky Derby, and then earned a career best 101 last time in the Grade 3 Matt win. He did finish fourth out of 4, but regardless, I think it's a nice speed progression for increasing Equibase speed figures coming in here. He's back on somewhat of a preferred type of surface. Flavian Pratt gets them out, which is huge. Arguably the best jockey in North America right now. Pratt and Cox winning at 30% in greatest stakes races together in the past year. 8 wins from 27 starts. In the past 3 years, they won at 32% in all races at Saratoga together. 9 wins from 28 starts and a Juddmonte homebred. So here we go. We have a little race lens angle, as you can see. When it matches green, means it's a positive ROI. So here's a success score of 7.8 with a positive 117% ROI. So Cox wins at 43% in graded stakes races with horses owned by Juddmonte in the past 2 years and 86% in the money. Out of 28 starts with a success score of 8.8 in the past 2 years. The past year, they're 6 for 12. Whoa. I just like...
Oh, that's good. Winning half your starts is good. No, I mean, he's so logical. This one, David guessed 5-2 on the morning line. I mean, I could see this horse being even money or 6-5 just because that 98 in the most famous race, on a different figure scale, it just jumps out in a way that's going to catch some money. And you can see all the I love that when you show the angles on Race Lens that you have not just that it's a positive ROI, but also that the way that success score is calculated, I think is really interesting. It's trying to evaluate, sometimes when you're just looking at angles, it's just telling you what happened in the past and not necessarily what's going to carry forward. I think that success score, in my experience, can give you an indication of angles that are likely to go forward. So that's a good thing to highlight for sure.
Love that. Love that. Who else you got in your ticket there? You got the 5. Test score. Oh, sorry. Of course,
yeah. You went over him. He's, you made all the form and figure case on him. For me, it's really just about the way this race is going to play out. I feel like sometimes I'll do that when I'm looking at picks or thinking about how to approach a horizontal sequence. I think about what different things could happen. And so I have 3 scenarios really in here. If they run an even or a little bit too fast pace, that's going to benefit Luther. If they go way too slow, if they forget about Tank, he could win. And then if they go more of an even pace where maybe Luther's going to struggle to get involved, I mean, Test Score's just going to get the perfect trip. He's going to stalk, he's going to pounce. And this way, I feel like no matter what happens in terms of the pace, I feel like I've got my best idea of the winner for every scenario. It just gives me a little bit more confidence when I'm going to go ahead and bet those horizontals now.
I do just want to mention New Century. See, you have him off your ticket. What did David Argana have on him for morning line?
He's got 3. David has 3-1 on him, and it makes sense, right? I mean, he is a grade 1 winner, beaten only 2 in the juvenile turf, and absolutely ran a respectable race in that American turf. So, and even his run in the Craven overseas back in, that's one of the key preps for the Guineas, and he was beaten 5 lengths, which looks like and kind of is a lot in turf racing, but that was won by that Field of Gold, who looks like different sauce from the rest of the European 3-year-olds. I mean, he might be the best miler in Europe, full stop, even though he's a 3-year-old. So it's not bad form at all. I mean, I think I didn't include him, not because I don't like him, but because sort of like those Derby horses, I didn't feel like I had as interesting things to say about him. And I think he will be bet, but he'd be another one in terms of spreads. If you're trying to survive and advance this leg, I don't think you can leave him off, really.
Yeah, I agree. I just think, to your point, all this international and domestic travel, he might be tired.
I know I am.
But he does have the best late pace rating in the race with a 111.5. And this is an angle that I found was pretty successful on turf route graded stakes races. The horse with the highest late pace rating is a success score of an 8.5 with a positive 22% ROI. And they win at 26% from 167 starts in the past year. So that it doesn't apply on turf, which is interesting. It's actually negative ROI on turf, but on turf, it's positive. So a reason why I kind of threw him in there. But let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the Grade 2 Suburban Stakes, race 10 on Friday's card with a post of 6:19 p.m. Eastern, a mile and a quarter on the dirt for 4-year-olds and up. Some legendary horses have won this race in the past. Easy Goer, Lemon Drop Kid, Mineshaft, Peace Rules. I love that horse. Invasor, Mucho Macho Man, FNX, Keen Ice, just to name a few. Last year's winner was Krupe for trainer Todd Pletcher's 3rd consecutive win in the Suburban. Talented field of 8 in here. Who are you going with?
Well, I'm hoping Pletcher can continue that streak. This is another one where I'm going to end up with the favorite, but I just think number 4, Locked. I really like him, and I feel like he got a little bit lost last time in the Ali Sheba, and it was obviously very good form being won by Stablemate Fierceness, but I just don't think I think it was just a little bit better of a race than it looked like when you look at those running lines, given how he just didn't show any of his early speed and still ran on okay in that spot. I think this time around, hopefully they go fast enough. He can get a mid-pack sit and show his stuff and close by him. But I'm hoping that I'm right, that he's just a little bit better than that last running line suggests. I mean, it's not a bad race. Not a bad race on the figure scale, not a bad race on form, but it doesn't look super pretty. But I think there's every reason why he's going to be able to turn it around today. If he can show a little bit more speed and or the pace can just come back a little bit more.
Well, if he's even half the horse he was for that Santa Anita handicap,
right,
going
right.
a mile and a quarter as well. I mean, that was probably one of the best performances, I think, of the year.
It was terrific. Yeah, he was imperious in victory. I mean, we're much softer company than what he faced last time at Churchill. But then isn't this race kind of in between? So I think we're going to see the real Locked.
Well, and honestly, Fierceness, nobody's beaten him that day. Right. I mean, he broke the track record. That horse is just a beast.
When he's on, he's very, very tough to beat.
Yeah. Well, there's Locked. I went with the other Todd Pletcher with Antiquarian in here. Oh, let me get to him. But steadily improving colt for Todd Pletcher. He went 3 for 5 over the last 10 days, by the way. I mean, I know it's small sample size, but he's kind of hot. And Todd Pletcher and Johnny V in the graded stakes at Saratoga. This is their place. They went at 21% in all graded stakes races the past 3 years. But Antiquarian has only finished out of the money twice in his career, with one of those being in last year's Belmont. Took a couple tries to break his maiden at Fairgrounds before finishing 6th in the Grade 2 Louisiana Derby and went off the Kentucky Derby trail. Opted for that Grade 3 Peter Pan last May instead and won by 3/4 of a length, running a 97 Echo-based speed figure. After his bid in that Belmont, he took a very long 10-month layoff before coming back to win. First off the layoff by 2.5 lengths and an allowance optional at Gulfstream. Last time out, second off the layoff, he runs a very game second in the Grade 3 Blame Stakes at the end of May. Churchill 2 Mystic Dan. He's sitting really pretty, stalking that whole race. It looked like the horses just swallowed him up mid-stretch, and he regained composure. Went to the outside, was just driving hard at the end. I think that just says a lot about a horse to come back like that mid-stretch and finish really strong. And also getting a bit of a stretch out here to 1.25 miles. I was just reading on DRF that Pletcher thinks this horse will just get better and better over time. I mean, he's right. Every single start in this horse's career is an increasing Echo-based speed figure. Earned a 110 for his effort in the Blame Stakes. Training amazing at Saratoga. Recently just seems primed, ready for this race. And say what you will, but he definitely runs a bit of a pattern. Finish second, then first. Finish 6th, then first. Finish 5th, then first. Finish 2nd. Well, now we'll see. Johnny V has been riding great as well. The past month, he's winning at 28%. In the past year, Johnny's winning at 40% in dirt routes at Saratoga. 10 wins from 25 starts, 60% in the money with a positive 94% return on investment. I think we just have the best. The best we're about to see is coming up for Antiquarian.
Yeah, I mean, the 1.25 miles is a test that he didn't pass the one time he tried. Yeah. But I mean, that was the Belmont Stakes, right? And he made a move into a fast pace, and everything about him. A lot of those horses that improve, they're also going to enjoy more distance. I mean, he was a horse I have no issue with. I wouldn't fight about including on any kind of group ticket. I just went in different directions because it's a competitive race.
Very competitive. Well, we both have this one Phileas Fogg on here, which I'm thinking we're going to get a decent price on him. What are your thoughts? Why'd you go with him?
I like a couple of things about this horse. I admire the consistency. I admire the 1.25 miles form for this one too. I think this is a horse that truly likes the distance and has run in some of these farther races, 1 3/16, 1.25 miles, some pretty quick early pace figures and still been able to stick on well late. So I wonder if they might just try to send him to the lead with an aggressive pilot and Carmouche up and potentially just try to go for as far as they can. I thought he was an interesting horse. I love when I like a horse's stamina and they also have speed, I love that. I think too often horses that want to run longer are handled too conservatively early in races, and it sort of takes the stamina edge away because not everybody else is getting tested for the distance because they're able to go too slow early. When you have a horse that you like the distance for, like this one, and they have speed, this horse is going to make this a real 1.25 mile test. Ultimately, I think that probably plays into Locke's hands, but if it doesn't for any reason, I could see this one just winning. And I just think he's interesting.
I could definitely see him stealing it on the front end as well. What I wrote down in my notes is he's all gas, no brakes, a true front runner, and just coming into his own since being claimed for 62.5 last July. Since that claim, he has 4 wins in 2 seconds from 6 starts. Wow, what a great claim that was! And it just narrowly caught at the wire, but he was able to run off 5.25 lengths, like you said, at that 1.25 mile distance. 1-for-1 at Saratoga. Past 5 years, Gustavo Rodriguez, Kendrick Carmouche went at 26% in all starts, 26 wins. Nice late pace rating of a 112, which is interesting for a front runner.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, could be really dangerous. And I think a nice price. I think everybody's gonna be looking at Locked in my antiquarian, and they're gonna see that Awesome Aaron beat him in the Pimlico Special, which could take some money off as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think Awesome Aaron's a little interesting. I do have a little bit of question about I know he just won at the mile and 3/16 and beat Phileas, who I was talking about, but I'm just not as sure about that little bit of added ground for him. Having said that, based on the fact that he beat another horse I like and the figures he runs, I'm not getting beat by him in multis.
Yeah, what is it? Four consecutive triple-digit equibase speed figures.
Yeah, I mean, I'm enough of a figure monkey that'll make me just put a horse in the mix unless there's a real reason to question the distance. And like I said, I'm not 100% convinced, but practical joke on the being the sire, being part of that. But he is 6, and a lot of times these sires known for speed. If the horses hang around to be 6, they'll get a little bit more than you think they will, and that might be the case with Awesome Aaron. So I'm leaving him. I'm on the bubble, but I'm leaving him in. He's in good hands too, with Norm Cassie calling the shots, and obviously Irad Ortiz in the irons, who certainly needs no introduction.
Talk about another great claim for 40,000, won over 200 since that claim. These guys, hats off to them.
Sharp. It's not easy. I mean, it's not easy to move horses up like that. And sometimes you look and you can understand for sure why. Sometimes it just makes sense, right? I mean, for a horse like Phileas Fogg, Godolphin, they're running a global breeding operation. A horse that's going to require being cut to show their best. Like that's not their game. But then you got to be the one who can not only then get in there and get the great stock, but then turn the horse around and get them to do what this horse has been able to do. It's couple brilliant claims in this race.
Yeah. Well, what an amazing card this is going to be on the 4th of July. And Pete, thank you so much for being here. That was so much fun. I love hearing your opinions, and you're such a smart horse player. So thank you for being here. Thank you.
We do our best. That's for sure. Doesn't always look so smart after they run them, but we try to in the money. We are one of our main sort of ethoses, and I'm sure you agree with this too. It's you present the data and you try to help people with maybe include a horse that they weren't going to, or give them a different way of thinking about things. And it's about the process, and you trust the process. And then when it works, boy, nothing feels better. So hopefully we'll have some winners on this Friday, and it's another great card at Saratoga on Saturday. So folks,
and around the whole country, Indiana Derby Day at the Oaks, Iowa Derby Day, the Cornhusker is fantastic race as well.
We got it covered. There's loads of stuff on the In the Money Network. One other plug I want to put in, because there's a charitable element to this. These races at Saratoga we talked about on Friday are going to be part of our In the Money Horse Players Tour, which you can play over at horseplayers.com. And it's an opportunity to not only feed your way in for $20 to the Saturday direct BCBC qualifier, but if you finish in the top 4 any week of this ITM Horse Players Tour, you're automatically entered in a tournament we're going to do at the end of the year where an additional $10,000 BCBC seat will be awarded at no further cost to players. I feel like everybody should be playing max entries in this, and not least because the house cut of that 20 goes to Thoroughbred Aftercare. So it's a good cause, and it's free stuff added to the pot, plus just a chance to win your way traditionally into the BCBC, which is along with the NHC are the two biggest of our majors. Kentucky Derby Betting Challenge going to be entering that conversation soon, but those big tournaments are such a great way to participate and get involved in betting horses, and we want people to check it out. Horseplayers.com.
Love that. Yeah, love that. 30% to Thoroughbred Aftercare. That's what it's all about. Please check that out on In the Money Media. And please hit that like and subscribe button on In the Money Media for some awesome, fantastic content. And everybody, please stay safe this weekend and have a wonderful 4th of July weekend. Take care of your horses. Take care of your doggos with those fireworks. Good luck in your wagers, and we'll see you next week.